classic music.
I'm gonna leave them all without music because I'm mean.
Never mind, the music is not working right now.
I also don't do it because it captures your guys' voice.
Okay, I'm gonna tweet this out to everybody. I'm gonna tweet this out to everybody. I'm gonna tweet this. Let's get this on my phone.
Get this party started on a Saturday night. Everybody's waiting for me to arrive. I got lots of style, check my contact rings. I can go for miles if you know what I mean. See, talented, I'll just be your music.
Easy fix.
Coming up with some fun.
Don't get me copyright striked now.
It won't. I've learned that. I've learned that the singing doesn't get you copyright striked.
No?
I had to make sure of that. That's why covers and stuff don't get copyright striked. Yeah, this party started on a Saturday night. Alright, note to self, don't start singing throughout the stream. I've got energy today. We can have a more energetic podcast. Everybody's waiting for me to arrive. How's everybody's day going? On a side note.
Side note, yeah. Well, my day is going great.
You got thrown on a podcast?
Yeah, just got randomly thrown on the podcast. I mean, how wouldn't I be happy to get to talk to some new people?
Aw. Don't butter us up, you big cutie.
I'll butter you up all I want, smooches.
Aw. That kind of joke, I need to add you on Twitch.
Well, feel free.
I was going to anyway, but I just forgot. I say forgot.
You ruined the compliment. Shh.
No, Pilgrim Strange, not Pilgrim Stange. 65 followers, a cool fucking artwork as your profile picture.
That is correct. The artwork is still on the way. I need to make some more edits on it.
He streams Apex. Oh my god.
I did. That was a random stream. But
Oh,
all right, let's move on to the Discord ads. Let's see here.
I need to remember my website address. Oh, Pilgrim, I'll also send you my Discord server link. That way, if you want to join in for any of the streams or anything like that, then you can. We also have a Minecraft SMP that's currently under works. Message could not be sent. Well, add him as a friend and send it again, huh? How about that, Claude?
There you go.
I don't know if it came through, I'll just send it again. Pilgrim Strange honorably gets the role of podcast guest. Oh. I will just give you all of the current game ones. If you don't want any, then just let me know.
Where else am I doing this?
Game what, sorry?
So I have roles for a couple of games, like the SMP one and Among Us. If you don't want them, then just say.
Yeah,
Yeah, you have them? Okay.
I only play like Among Us. I don't know about SMP. What is S&P against that Minecraft?
It's Minecraft, yeah. We've got our own server. I'm hosting at the moment.
Well, I do have Minecraft, so would be fun.
So however you want it. We're currently adjusting the mod packs. Giving it some work.
All right. Who else do I need to promote this to?
People watching. Oh, nuts. Oh, nuts.
Donuts?
Donuts. I hope I just haven't fucked things up, that's all.
I could
Hiccup.
eat some donuts.
Halfway.
I should go try and find my other glasses. I'll be right there.
All right.
Okay, you got
Well, we're
3
starting.
minutes.
We're starting soon. Uh-huh.
I'm gonna kill Terminator. He's gifted 7 subs on the channel. What a
Damn, dude. That's a lot
pain
of
in the ass.
subs.
I tell them not to. Honestly, I have a go at people that sub to me. It's not healthy, but yeah. Like my fucking mini feed is Terminator, 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 Terminator. Simsoloid is followed. Terminator, 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 Terminator. Source stamp, source stamp, source stamp, source stamp. Yeesh. I still haven't been paid by Twitch. God damn it, Twitch.
These glasses are, you can see more of my face, and they're kind of more iconic in their shape.
Nice, dude. You got the John Lennon glasses.
Kind of. They're like, have 10 edges on each. So it's like, it's extra edge. I'm really edgy.
All right, so you guys ready?
Let me get on my chair.
You guys ready? Or...
There you go. Yeah, sorry, yeah.
All right. The 3,
Give us a countdown, big guy.
2, 1. Welcome, everybody, to the Drawn Together podcast featuring our good friend Pilgrim Stange, the handsome fellow to my right. Today we'll be talking about all kinds of things tech-related. We have many conversations queued up on the repair and renewing of old tech devices as well as new ones. Am I right, Pilgrim?
Yes, it's just every Apple product and Huawei product, really.
Okay, so if you haven't before, check out my co-host Moon Panda on Twitch, and
Yeah,
we also have a another Twitch streamer by the name of Pilgrim Stange here. So check him out as well. It's Pilgrim Stange on Twitch. Be sure to check that out. So let's get this.
And interrupt Benny before he doesn't shout himself out. Be sure
Oh God!
to go follow and watch Talented Cutie.
Of course,
There we go.
Of course.
Yeah, keep forgetting to do that. I'll stop letting you do that.
The new setup, by the way, we have the microphone here.
I knew you were gonna plug that. It's like microphone.
Anyway, yeah. So Pilgrim, how are you today? How are you doing, buddy? How is everything?
I'm a little bit, I guess, flustered would be the right word, or maybe just a bit aloof, because you just wrote me, and I was like, "Oh shit, it's now! I gotta get ready."
Yeah, unfortunately, our guest Kroger couldn't make it today, so he had an emergency to do. He had an emergency, and we had to get someone else on the podcast quick ASAP. So I messaged Pilgrim, and he came on as soon as he could. Thank you for that, by the way, Pilgrim. That was very nice of you.
It's all good. Oh, a lifesaver over there.
What a lifesaver. So, Pilgrim, you wanted to talk about mental health. So, should we go around the table here and discuss our current or our history with mental health, or what?
That would be a good start.
Yeah. Okay. So, I was diagnosed with bipolar disease a couple years back. I've been in the mental hospital twice, and those are experiences that I don't share with everybody, but I consider this a safe space, so I will share that with you guys. Um,
Uh,
how
that's
about you,
tough.
Jamie? How about you? What's your history?
I got diagnosed with severe clinical depression last year. And I've been on the recovery for that ever since, and that's why I started the podcast. Not the podcast, my channel, not the podcast. Different thing. But my channel started as a coping mechanism for that. So that and anxiety, they're my history. Oh, and last but not least, childhood trauma. I'll throw that one in because this is a safe space. Um, what about you, Pilgrim?
Well, the funny thing about my mental health is not necessarily it wasn't ever diagnosed, and so I wouldn't say I can't say that I had things, which is weird because it really felt like, the classical kind of clinical depression at the time, but at the time I just didn't go to a doctor to get diagnosed really. But I had all the classical signs, like being really tired, incredibly tired. And waking up is a massive task in of itself, just getting up out of bed. Um, Self-loathing, bad self-esteem, pushing friends away, having no friends. Um, I had lots of signs and lots of symptoms, but I was never diagnosed. So it's an interesting case to say the least, because I feel that was those years back was probably like the worst part of my life, really. Um, but in a sense, it also shed a lot of light on a lot of things. So there's the flip side of the coin there.
Yeah, I find
And
I find
flip side of the
that's
coin.
definitely a big thing with mental health is that you'll see a lot of light and stuff. You'll see people in a different perspective than you did beforehand. And even just like simple tasks you'll see as far more challenging, but in the same way you can see it in a different light and go, well, it can be done like this to make it easier. So yeah, I fully understand what you're getting at there.
Yeah. The daily struggle of waking up in the morning. That's not something that I've ever had to deal with, but I do recognize that it's something that lots of people do struggle with. You know,
Mm-mm.
it's
Makes it very different.
it's the whole sleeping and not being able to wake up. It's kind of like it's kind of scary. Like do you value your sleep so much, and you hate your life so much that you kind of just sink into that, so like I never want to wake up mode. It's kind of scary, being in that place.
It is, and I was in such a dark place that one of my symptoms were I couldn't sleep. I had like hardcore insomnia, so I couldn't sleep, and my mind was just running all the fucking time on speed. Like I couldn't think straight. I felt like I was in a haze all the time, and just I was forced to go to class because sometimes, most of the time, my mom would kick me out of bed and be like, "Come on, you need to go to school. You need to do something. You need to do something physical, and actually move from place to place and not stay in one place. Because if I did that, I would have withered away." So I thank her for that now. I was really pissed at her at the time, but um, and even though that when coming to school and being in class was just horrible and a lot of noise uh, in my head in that sense coming to class.
Yeah.
Um,
So
and we
would
had
would you
like the
say
worst teachers that sort of it was weird. It was that class I was in. They kind of bullied each other in the class, or their humor was at least very antagonizing. If we're gonna put it mildly.
Let's take a little bit of a look into like the male interaction and like in general like male men tend to make fun of each other like, and I don't know if that's a result of like society kind of like pushing the male macho sort of thing onto kids or what, but I remember back in school that was the norm. Like
Yeah.
people, you would pick on people, man. Like even like your friends, you'd just go up to them and be like, "Ha, fucking idiot! Like your shoelace is untied, dumbass!" Like push them.
There's also there's a lot of homophobia stuff in there too.
Yeah,
If you're ever so slightly effeminate, you're gay, and that's a bad thing. Obviously, it's not, but that was just kind of the mindset people had.
yeah. I used to play with dolls as a kid. You know.
Still play with
Well,
dolls. They're called pop
that's,
vinyls.
well, that's an interesting conversation to take. Because where that comes from, the whole masculinity, or let's call it masculine energy and feminine energy. I don't want to label it as necessarily male or female, because that's how I feel about it. Well, I was more of a feminine boy, in like feminine in energy, let's say.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that stems from my father not being that absent. Oh no, no, not
No,
being there that
present.
much, and
Present.
he was
Yeah.
absent. He was there in some regard, and more than a lot of other fathers.
Yeah.
But he would work. I remember I would lay in my bed like every fucking night, and he would work a long time, and wait for him to come home because I needed to know that my father was safe and that I was safe to sleep. Like I'm good to sleep because my father's home. Then I'm safe, right? And usually he wouldn't even check on me. Usually he would just pass by or was tired and didn't
Yeah.
come in and say goodnight.
But it's
He
no
would
it's,
go
it's
in.
no fault to him though, because
Oh, it is not. I'm not blaming him.
yeah,
But it was still tough for me as a
it's hard
kid
being a
because
parent because you never like there's so much that goes into parenting that there's no one that could ever write like a book that could like fully guide someone to being a parent. Plus, everyone's a different individual. Um, like you have one kid, and one kid needs different things than the other kid, and like different emotions, different personalities.
yeah.
Like I'd say that mothers do a better job than fathers do, but at the same time, nobody's perfect.
I can fully agree with that
Well,
because
I
I'm my own
will.
father.
Well, I will say that if the father and the mother is present at the same time and uh, instill their values sort of equally, right? I think you'll get the best outcome most of the time.
Yeah, and that's
Whereas
all you can really hope for,
there's a
really.
lot of struggles I've had that probably stemmed from me having a lot of feminine energy. I'm not saying feminine energy is wrong, but I feel like later in life I've had to um, find out what my masculine energies were and where, like, find them inside myself somewhere and dig them out of the grave or dig them out of a place that's been kept away in lock and keep. And uh, because I had a lot of issues that stemmed from me not being in tune with both my energies, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's very easy to like toss away like the feminine side, like because like as a society, like boys are taught to be like the macho man. Like there's you like what look at all the movies that we had growing up. Like we had Rambo and like all those kind of like strong male protagonist types who never really like cried or had like a moment of like empathy for their significant others, really. So
In a moment of vulnerability, I
yeah,
mean, they're vulnerable sort of when they get damaged in the movie or whatever.
yeah,
Some of them
exactly.
do, but they are never really vulnerable in
Their emotional side,
in
yeah.
their emotional lives or emotional projections.
You never really see the main character being depressed in like movies when we had growing up, you know? Like you never saw him having issues like getting out of bed and being the, you know, the tough
That
guy.
that that also comes down to Gauntlets Theory, which is something I studied in my first 2 years of college. Um, and it's essentially we develop our identity of the media we intake, whether that be through magazines, films, music, any media that we consume, we develop our identity around it. So if you had a childhood growing up around very like strong male role models, like seeing men in a certain light and women in a certain light through media, you'll develop those values. And especially with old age films, like obviously the men and women are not equal in a lot of older films. So that's where a lot of kind of sexual stereotype issues arrive from, is through the media we consume.
I would definitely agree with that.
Yep.
I partly agree. It's I believe we internalize the media we consume, but I don't believe we internalize all of it. I believe we internalize some parts, and it's not even conscious what we internalize and what we don't. But some things just stick,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
that's the way I feel it works.
I feel it's the same with experiences too. Like if you have a really bad experience, it will just stick. And sometimes it's not even like a specific bad thing. Like I've had arguments with people in the past and just one phrase is stuck. And that one phrase that might not even have that much relevance to the actual argument has all the emotion in it. So
Yeah, sort
those kind
of
of things.
your brain kind of blows it out of logical proportions and into the emotional proportions of being a human.
Yeah.
Yeah. The catastrophizes it. I keep fucking up that word.
Going back to the whole masculine and feminine energy side of things, like it's okay to, you know, like as a kid for you to play with dolls. Like the whole thing about playing is having fun. Like if you're having fun doing something, you shouldn't be ostracized for doing something with a certain thing, you know?
Definitely,
Like
Yeah.
definitely. It's can I elaborate on that? Is that
yeah, for
okay?
sure.
So when kids play or when adults play, whatever you want to call it, like when people they play and um, figure out things and try new stuff, uh, it's like this description is from Jordan Peterson. I don't know if you're familiar with
Jordan Peterson?
Jordan Peterson. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm familiar with him.
So he's a clinical psychiatrist based in Canada. Um, so he talks about it as if you put out an avatar in the world, let's say, and like an idea, which is an avatar is an idea essentially. And so a kid says to his sister, uh, I should climb that. I should let's see if I can climb and dance over this railing, let's say. And then she says, because of her experience and her idea of what that means and what that is connected to, is that would be dangerous, and mom will be angry with you if you fall, or that will be dangerous because you can fall and hit your head, or but that is the way we discover life, really, like
By taking
through the
risks.
experiences of others and through
Yeah.
trying new stuff. And it might be worth doing it, even though your sister says no. or your mom or father says no, but it might also not be worth it. But only you can find out and decide.
Yeah, that's a very good take. Jordan Peterson does have very good takes. Um, and some people would argue the fact that Jordan Peterson is writing like a self help book for when he has these issues, he shouldn't be writing a self help book. But at the same time, I would argue that the fact that he does have these issues and that he recognizes these issues is he is the most qualified to write a self help book because he's dealing with this himself.
Yeah, people who have dealt with things themselves are the best to write it. I mean, if you really, some people I've met don't feel like they've had any struggles in life whatsoever. I mean, not many like big or huge struggles that define them in any certain way. They don't feel like, and I wouldn't find them as qualified to write a self-help book, and they wouldn't, I find, be the people who wrote the self-help book anyway. Um, so people that have dealt with things usually are the ones writing these things because they feel like they have a take on the issue at hand.
Precisely.
I agree with that.
It's like it's the whole stigma between like, oh, we're having a boy, so all of her baby clothes are gonna be blue, or we're having
Yeah.
a girl, all the baby girl clothes are gonna be red or pink. Like, it's society has labeled male or female on so many different things. My favorite color is purple. I love purple.
Definitely up there for me. In the top 3 for me.
Like,
Same.
and I'm a boy. I consider myself a macho man. Like,
Very sick of macho man.
I burp and fart and cuss, and I consider
Well,
myself
I don't think that
quite the boy.
necessarily is. I don't think that necessarily is defined as macho, but let's see what you're getting at.
So, Pilgrim, I'm sorry to cut this tangent off here, but I do feel like we've elaborated quite a bit on mental health now, and we have sort of like a clearer picture of where you stand and the issues that you face. Um, but I would like to start to explore what you do, like your daily life. What is it like waking up for you? Like, if you do wake up. um, and what's your daily life like? Like, what do you do in a day?
Well, it's the corporate hamster wheel, kind of.
Corporate
Well,
house.
it doesn't feel corporate is the thing, because I really like what I'm doing. Uh, so I wake up and I go to work. That's mostly what happens.
Yeah.
I like a 9 to 5 kind of thing, and
Weekends off.
that's weekends off always.
Nice.
And yeah, it's just me and a screwdriver and some phones most of the time, and then some logistics work. I do the packages as well.
Nice. Nice. So, what kind of like repairs do you do? And my question is there anything that's irreparable?
Yes, there is. I mean, there's things that we don't repair because it's easier to just swap them. In cases of insurance cases, we usually, if it's damaged, like if the backside of, we usually don't switch backsides of iPhones really, because if
Okay.
they're smashed, it's not as easy to switch them, and our workshop haven't done it that much. So, uh, because it's where the motherboard sits inside and
So like,
in the
okay, I've
front.
got an iPhone right here.
Yeah,
So what you're talking about is this right here, this backside.
that's correct. The
If
back
this
cover.
gets smashed, then the motherboard behind that is no good.
Not all the time is no good, but usually we can see that there are multiple cracks and it's cracked into the phone or it's smashed. We would prefer to swap it, and if it's an insurance case, then we will likely swap the phone for a new one. Um, well, and it also depends with warranties. Like if it's in 1 year, like if it's 1 year, how do you say that in English?
1 year.
If it still has last time you no, not last time, the purchase date. It depends on the purchase date. So if it's from the purchase date and is still in the 1 year warranty, then you can have Apple pay for it if they decide that it's a failure on their side. But uh, if it's physical damage and you just dropped it, then Apple won't pay for it, and it might be your insurance or it might be yourself that ends up paying for it.
Right. So, say that I crack my iPhone. I got a cracked screen. What's take me through the rebuilding process, the repair process.
The repairing process. Okay, so if you crack your screen, we're talking about the front screen, yeah?
Yeah, the front screen.
Okay, if you crack your front screen, then first we'll get it in by mail or get it in from one of the stores. And the customer is we might also get them just in our store. People come in the shop and hand them in. Then yeah, the repair process of the process really starts there. We review it and see who's going to pay and whatnot, and then we begin the repair. And so what it usually does, we take out the screws, and then we open it with some sort of tool we have. Like we just put it down between two sucking cups, and then we can screw on a little screw thing, and it'll
Yeah.
open the phone after we've taken out the bottom screws.
Okay.
Sometimes it doesn't open, and we need some other tools to like wedge it, which you're technically not allowed to do by Apple, but sometimes it is impossible to actually get the screen open in any other way. So then the phone's open. Then you check if there's fluid in it. There's these small marks inside the phone that would have the color red. They're usually white, but they will have the color red if there's fluid in your phone, and in that
Oh,
case, you need it swabbed.
that's
You can,
interesting. That's very
yeah.
interesting. Does Samsung have the same indicators or no?
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't looked inside the
What
Samsung.
about a
We sent
Huawei?
them. I haven't looked inside the Huawei either, actually, because I'm fairly new. But we have one certified technician that could tell you that. But I'll have to get back to you.
Okay, okay. So say the motherboard has a little bit of water damage. Is that motherboard just not workable anymore, or
You would switch the entire phone.
this is the entire phone?
Yes,
Really?
and you'll have to pay for a new phone, either the insurance or not. Apple won't pay because you put water in your fucking phone or fluid in your phone. So it's either the insurance, uh, yourself, or the store that you bought it from. If sometimes, usually, it will be the store that you bought it from. If it's within the second year period of the warranty, which the
Okay.
store covers that you bought it from.
So that's interesting. So you guys deal a
That's
lot
how it
with
is in
insurance
general.
companies, right? What's that like? Do they always try to nickel and dime you?
We deal with what, Chinese companies?
Insurance companies.
Insurance companies. We have different systems in place. Um, we have certain ones that are like thumbs up, basically. So
So
that
they
means
they're
that
like,
we don't
yes, we will
necessarily,
pay for this.
yes, like we don't have to send an offer to them in any way. They're
Okay.
just like, well, go ahead, do your thing. But if it's not, then you have to send an offer to the insurance, and they have to verify and say, all right, we'll pay for this, and you'll have to send pictures to them, and describe the symptom that the case has, or the phone per se.
Right, right. Very interesting.
So, looking beyond what you do during a workday, when it comes to your streaming, how do you fit that in within your day? Like, do you
Very,
do that straight after work, or?
it's fairly easy. Actually, I feel like my schedule is fairly easy to keep up. So yeah, I might have to stream a little later because of this podcast today, but that's all right.
Oh, sorry,
No, no, no,
dude.
it's no, 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 it's all good.
It's
It's all fine. It's all fine. I want to be on this, so it's fine.
oh,
No worries. Um, but yeah, I lost the thought there. Can you help me?
How is it
um,
streaming and your schedule?
Yes. Um, so Wednesdays I stream from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Central European Time. And the same goes for Saturday. So I have these two stream days where I stream, and then once in a while I'll chuck in a random stream just because I want to. But those are the set times that I stream.
Nice.
And
Okay.
in Wednesdays I come home from work, then I have an hour sort of ish to eat and prepare, set the whole thing up, make creative titles, and I have a lot of bad puns on my channel and bad jokes. That's the kind of vibe
yeah.
I'm going for. I have a lot of puns related to the games that I do. For example, I play a lot of Hunt Showdown. Don't know if you're familiar with that game.
Very familiar. My best friend plays that game religiously.
Yeah, yeah, same. I have like 1,300 something hours, and they're still going up. So but yeah, we had this other pun. I really like coffee, so I did like there's this new boss in Hunt that is kind of crow themed, um, and looks like that particular bird. And I had this pun where let me see if I can remember it. Um, like, what do crows drink when they're tired?
Coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dear. I thought I was bad because recently I've been playing Night in the Woods, and the main character is called May, and yeah, no, I just put maybe I'll play this game today in my stream title, and I still get
No,
disappointed
that's
comments.
really good. That's really good. That's the title I would click on. So based on that title, that's the stream I would click on if I saw it. So
I'm so terrible with that. But with your schedule, do you plan out which games you do? Because I personally I stream daily, and I'm just like, last 5 minutes, what game do I play? That one, or I'd be like, chat, what do I play? So do
well,
you plan?
I don't do most of the time. I don't do variety. The only reason that my content is varied is because the random streams where I just chuck in some random game that I wanted to play. But Wednesdays Hunt, Saturdays Darkest Dungeon at the moment. And when I'm done with the Darkest Dungeon playthrough, I'm going to switch over to Hand of Fate probably because it's a lot like Darkest Dungeon. So it'll be easier for the guys coming to watch Darkest Dungeon to transition over to another game.
Very nice.
Um,
For me, it's
so
completely
yeah,
random. I do whatever I feel like.
Yeah.
yeah. No, but I feel like with having set games at first, at least before switching over, when building a community, I find that the best strategy
Oh yeah,
for
definitely. My
growing.
community is not there at all, but but I do. I basically I stream for my friends.
Yeah. This is three very different approaches to streaming because my approach to stream was make friends, be like have the focus of the stream be me as a focus. What's playing in the background? Okay, sorry, someone was playing in the background. No, I think it was for stream. Lol. But yeah, no, I focused on having me be the center of the stream as opposed to the game. so I could build up the community like as a friend to friend conversation base.
Yeah.
Benny streams for fun and just goes for games that whatever he wants to play and streams for
Yeah.
people he knows. And then
Road to
you go
Gold is what
very
I've been doing recently. League of Legends.
I need to start playing League more. Ah. And then you take the approach of focusing on gameplay and focus on the select 2 games that you play regularly. So it's quite cool
Yeah,
collection of dynamics.
it's very, yeah, it's interesting. There's a lot of prep work involved for me as well. I mean, I haven't been the last couple of streams. There hasn't been too much prep work because I've been sort of busy with a lot of projects. But usually, I write down topics and jokes I want to feel out. You know, I write. I'm gonna write a short story for Darkest Dungeon based on the Twitch stream.
Really?
Yes, because I really like writing stories. I've been doing writing stories and poems since I was 14. Nice. Yeah, it's and I've always found it very not meditative. Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah, I would agree with
Kind of like
that.
a therapeutic bill.
I would very
Sometimes.
much agree with that.
Yeah.
Writing in general is just very therapeutic. You know, like it's like even if you have like a diary, just writing down your thoughts every day is just so good for you. And then you can go back and reference them later on.
Yeah, it's
Like,
always good to reflect back on.
I remember playing Doki Doki Literature Club, and at the end when we just finished, because the game is about like writing poems for each other, I was like, you know what, guys, I'll write a poem at the end of the stream, and it was a very weird dynamic, but it's very kind of refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
And I really get what you mean by the meditative state that comes from it.
So, Pilgrim, you kind of glossed over your the games that you like to play, but is there anything else in the future that you would like to sort of branch out and play? Like, for example, like if you ever feel like playing League of Legends, I'd be more than a happy teacher.
Yeah, well, I'm not thinking about doing League of Legends because I've never really been able to get into it.
Totally understandable.
Because it doesn't feel like my type of game every time I play. But the thing I want to do more just chatting, but get the community to a little bit higher elevated state before I branch out into that. And most of the things I want to do is just weird challenges and reaching like small, easy to reach goals, and that we can then celebrate with weird streams and such.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I'm still figuring out which goal to do. Where if we reach the goal, I'm gonna make a pool party stream where I'm literally gonna buy a kiddie pool, fill it up with water inside my room, make drinks, and just chat with people.
That'd be
Wow,
hilarious,
like laying
dude.
in a kiddie pool on my fucking floor.
You could always set it, because what I did when I first became affiliate was I set my sub goal to be for a celebration of like from 0 until the first emote, which is 15 subscriber points, and then didn't actually do anything. I ended up just making a new emote, but that's something that I wish I did. I wish I kind of had a little event for that.
That'd be nice, yeah.
No, it is very focused on the generosity of other people, which is really weird with the Twitch community, because I actually have a go at my audience if I get a sub. I'm like, no guys, what are you doing? Stop it. You're crazy. Save your money. My channel isn't worth it. But it's very, I don't know, it's a very weird dynamic.
It is a very weird dynamic. Last stream was the most insane I've had with subs, and I just just got affiliate, like not that last stream, but last again, and in came this new fella to the stream and just was like, "Here's 5 subs." What?
Damn. Just dropped a 5 gifted sub bomb on you.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it was
But
really awesome and really crazy. I was very baffled by it. Yeah, it's a weird experience that I can't say I've had in the same way before.
That's great.
that's a
I'm
good
so
tangent.
happy for you, dude. That's
That's
awesome.
a that's a
I
really
hope
good.
you grow very fast, honestly. Like because there's a niche market for those types of games that you play. Um like Hunt, I know that Hunt's got a very deep knit community. Those guys are
Yeah.
like this. And as well as Darkest Dungeon. Darkest Dungeon, there's a lot of guys that like that game.
Especially the Reddit community on Darkest Dungeon is one of the most active communities I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah.
And that is where I'm gonna post the short story when I'm done. I'm also gonna post it to my socials, but I'm definitely gonna post it on on the Darkest Dungeon forums.
That's
But
great,
yeah,
dude.
my socials aren't that big at all. They're just like small time, and I just started a Twitter for my account.
Yeah,
But
I started a Twitter too.
I haven't. I'm terrible. I've started much though. Shout out me being the
Yeah,
culture
shout out
guy.
to
I
Jamie's
I
merch
actually want
store.
to see the merch. I actually want to see the merch because I'm in the market for new clothes. So
Look at that.
it's in my Discord that you just joined. It's under merch. You can check it out after the podcast if you want. I haven't had my first order yet. I need to just save up just a little bit just so I can buy my own merch.
I really want to buy some of that stuff.
I love the dad hat that is on there.
I really
Oh,
want a
oh,
sweater and I want a dad hat.
um, but yeah, going back to what you said about like the surreal experience. What's the most surreal experience you guys have had while streaming?
Probably raids. When you first start out before being affiliate, raids are like the holy shit. Like what the fuck? There's like 17 people watching me right now. Oh my god, I'm gonna shit my pants.
yeah,
Like
it's kind of scary.
it's so scary because then you're like, oh, what do I do to retain this audience? But like, it's
Oh,
crazy, man.
yeah.
But
Oh,
it was last time for me, definitely last time I streamed because it was not only the 5 gifted subs, it was also 2 raids.
Wow.
So it was I got raided by someone I know in real life. Got raided by my cousin who streams as well, and he just brought I don't know how many people, 9 people or something,
That's crazy.
and one of the other guys I play Hun with raided me with like 2 or 3 people. And I was like, what the fuck? What's happening?
Yeah.
it it's a great feeling. Like that's why whenever I've got like a sizable audience watching me at the time, I always go and raid like one of my friends or one of the channels that aren't like massive. Because if you raid someone with like 1,000 viewers, it's gonna be like, oh, thank you for the 9 viewers. But if you raid someone that's got like 1 or 2 people watching, they're kind of feeling a bit ill motivated. You just go chuck them a raid and you just see the massive grin on their face. It's such a great feeling.
I have to begin to do that because there's a lot of like people that I want to raid, but I haven't written down yet in my notes, which I need to.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! I just hit my mic with my head.
Going back to what Benny just said, with his first experience being raided, my
That's
first experience was with Ninja Monkey streamers, which is how me and Benny met.
that's actually how we met.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, but my very first raid was before I was affiliate, back when I was playing Sea of Thieves on my Xbox, and Ninja Monkey streamers came along and they're like, "Sing for us," and I was like, "Oh, okay." So I started singing "Lever, Johnny Lever," while my friend is pissing himself laughing in the back of the ship. It was terrifying. I was shitting myself. But no, my most surreal experience with streaming has to be my friend's younger brother watches me on stream, my college friend, and he loves watching me. He literally sits downstairs and watches me on the TV eating popcorn, and it's so heartwarming. And
Oh,
I bumped into him yesterday because I got a lift with her, and he was like, "Hi, Jay." And his little face was just grin from ear to ear was just such a heartwarming
that's
thing.
so nice.
And honestly, it makes it so much more motivation to stream.
Thank you. Thank you, little brother.
Thank you. You're so fucking cute.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Honestly, like one of the a surreal experience for me was like I wasn't even fishing for a compliment like this, but like my mom and my sister's girlfriend. Sorry, my mom and my girlfriend's mother watched our podcast, and they were like, "Holy fuck! Like you're actually really good at like interviewing people. Like what?" And I'm like, "Wait, what? Like you guys actually think like I'm good at this shit? Like." And like,
Fucking amazing. You lead the podcast.
and I'm just like, what? Like, don't blow me up that big. Like, and they're like, have you ever thought about doing like interviews for companies and shit? And I was just like, whoa, dude. Like, no, thank you. But I'll take the compliment, I guess. Like, my sister even came up to me and she was like, wow, like you, Benny, you're so fucking good at this podcast shit. Like, how do you do it? Like, I'm just like, I just talk.
I just talk. I just chat absolute shit. But it's like when I launched my merch, it was literally a couple of days ago. I spent hours trying to set up the website, but like the response I had just from my friends being like, "Yo, that's actually really sick." I was like, "Hey guys, thanks. I appreciate it."
Do you know if they ship to Canada?
They should do. They ship from America, so they should ship to Canada.
Okay, cool. I'll definitely pick one up.
Definitely. If you have any issues, then let me know, because then
Yeah.
I have to email them and scream at them.
Well, there's one thing I still want to talk about.
Yes.
Which was like the creativity of as a concept, both for streaming, but also in general with other creative projects, to get back on track.
Oh yeah, sorry, guy.
Okay. Okay.
Well, it's all good. Don't
Speaking
go on
on
tangent.
creativity, it's hard. Like I will say that playing League of Legends is definitely a deficit to my stream because of how much I have to focus on the game. So, but the benefit to that is that it helps me like multitask, but at the same time, like I'll have people come that pop in and I won't even notice because I'm just like so focused on the game, and they'll say something in chat and I'll just not even recognize that. But on the creative aspect, I would like to just get going with this podcast, man, because this is like my creative outlet, to be honest.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is a pretty big creative outlet. It's providing content that, yes, you do see a lot because it's a podcast. You see them everywhere, but it's very different in its own nature.
What I pride myself on is the fact that the podcast has so many different and interesting guests. Like every guest is different. That's what I pride myself on.
That's what I've noticed so far.
Mm-hmm.
It's all your work, Benny. That's all you, my dude. Carrying the guests.
How about you, Pilgrim? What kind of creative outlets do you like enjoy?
Well, we talked about the writing and the poems, which have stuck with me since I was 14. I've begun going into like the whole stream thing and setting up lights and figuring out making notes for the stream, how to be entertaining, of course, and how to be comfortable in front of the camera.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a big one.
And like different methods, like searching out different methods to do so. And when I moved, I also picked up like designing my room, how I wanted to look at, how I wanted it to look, because I didn't want it to look like anyone else's room. I wanted it to look like my room, and it needed to look weird, just
Yeah.
just a tad bit weird. I mean,
What kind of blanket is that behind you, by the way? Is it a blanket?
that is Mr. King Cock. We always have him on stream. He should be up on the wall, but I haven't gotten him on the wall yet, so he's chilling
King
in the
Cock.
chair here. Yeah, King Cock. He's a chicken with a crown on his head.
That's hilarious. Did you make that?
No, I didn't. I bought it.
Man, I need to know where you
An
buy
amazing
your tapestries because that is amazing.
Also, I got a really crazy good carpet on the floor. You can't see it, but maybe I can show it. Like this carpet was really cheap and really epic. It's hard to see, but
That's it.
it's it has like a nice framing
Yeah,
and like a tree sprouting inside that frame, and then
that's awesome.
another frame around it. It's really cool.
Yeah.
On the
Pretty
creative note, I would like to ask you guys one question, and I believe this question will get us to like know each other a little more. If you were to get a tattoo, what would you get? I know Jamie's got one, but what would you get? And I know, oh, you've got one now too. I don't have a tattoo. Fuck. But
No
can you guys
problem.
sort of explain your tattoos and sort of the reasoning behind them?
program you first because I
Make
need to
us.
remember.
Okay. So it's like a small one I got. Actually, there's a funny story behind it and kind of a fucked up story behind it. Uh, so I'll tell the story first before getting into what it means. So I was meeting up with this girl, and we were kind of, you know, hooking up. And I had this friend who invited me to a party somewhere. Uh, and we arrive at the party. I'm with this girl as well, and they have bought their own tattoo machine.
Oh God.
I can see where this is going.
So yes, so it was a very stupid tattoo, but I've grown very fond of it because it's a funny story, and but it had to mean something more for me. Uh, but yeah, and it's actually a pretty crazy party, and there were some older people than me in their 30s sniffing coke, and it
Really?
was
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
it was pretty crazy, and I was not that comfortable, but
I guess you're comfortable
I
enough to
I
get a tattoo.
I was yeah. No, I've seen worse, but that was still one of the worst like parties because of that. But it was fun. I mean, it was fun, and I didn't dabble in the cocaine, so but I got offered it a lot, and there's this
Yes.
middle-aged
I
guy
hate
who had
to I hate to reveal this about myself, but back in the day, I did party quite a bit. And the one thing that you notice about people that do cocaine is they love to offer it to people that have never done it before for free.
Yes.
They love it. They get off on it, dude. I swear. They're like, "Oh, you've never done cocaine before? Well, let me tell you what, brother. It's the best thing ever and you got to try it right now."
no, definitely, without a doubt. That's and this guy he snorted so much cocaine. The guy offering to me, and he was like what 38 or some shit. I don't know. Kind of washed up and looked like a Danish rapper,
Oh god.
the Danish famous rapper. Looked like him, and he got tattooed a cap on his forearm, like all cops are bastards, if you know that. But
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, that's cringe. And then some of the other boys got tattooed like this smiley thing, which kind of looked like hugs and kisses, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, and I thought, they were good friends, these guys that got tattooed. So I was like, yeah, I want that one, but it needs to mean something more, right? And I thought of it for a long time. I'm like, well, I'm gonna just make up a fucking meaning. And so it means the circle of life leads to death. And what that is, the essence of that is like, remember to live your life. So embedded in that is some concepts like, do you know the concept of Memento Mori?
No, but
Oh,
enlighten me.
that was. I can't remember what it means. Isn't it like everything eventually
So
dies?
remember, you shall die, and everything eventually dies. And remember that you are mortal and you have limits. And remember that you have to stay humble, right? And then the other part of it is memento vivere, which means remember to live. So remember to be present in the now. Remember to, uh, for me, in this day and age, in a modern interpretation, it means just remember to be present, not look at your phone all the time. Remember not to be influenced by too much by all these things that want your attention all the time, and sort of narrow in what you want to do, right?
That's quite a
So
cool
that's what my tattoo means, and it's sort of cringe. For somebody would think it was sort of cringe, but I think it's kind of profound.
I like it.
So
It's quite
yeah,
cool for such a
how
simple
about you,
thing.
Jamie? What does
So,
that
right,
mean?
there's quite a few implicit meanings in here. So, naturally, we have the astronaut and we have the clock, we have the semicolon, and we have um, geographic shapes. So, the astronaut is a reference to my younger age, where I spent plenty of time looking at the stars, studying astronomy, and wanting to be an astrophysicist. That was what I wanted to do for a long time in my life. Um, the clock is to do with my first home. Is a small reference to like the normality of my life back then. Because there was a clock that was in my house, this big old grandpapa clock, and I used to look at it all the time, and I used to love that fucking thing. Um, so that's reference to that, and the semicolon um is a symbol for depression, because the
Yeah,
semicolon isn't an end of a list, so it says it will continue.
Yeah, I know the semicolon. I'm familiar with that. I've seen it around.
Oh, and the geographic shapes is just because I'm very logical minded and very math oriented and science oriented.
I think that if I were to get a tattoo, it would be on my arm, on my forearm right here, and you know what it would be? It would be the tree of Yggdrasil.
Nice.
I think, I think that that would be a pretty cool one. Just because I'm so invested into Norse mythology, I love the tales of Odin. If you've ever played God of War,
Yeah.
that game is amazing, and I've been playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla recently, and that game is so fucking good. But
Yeah.
no, but I would get it because you know it's a symbol for life, you know,
Yeah.
for life, and you know how fragile that life can be. It's, you know, trees, like, even though, like, and then the roots of it, they go down to hell. Like, it's all great. Maybe I would get like the tree of Idrisil and all the nine realms on it. That'd be pretty solid.
Be cool
It's a
concept.
good idea. I mean, uh, this is I like the idea, first and foremost. Um, but yeah, I'm also pretty interested in Norse mythology. I'm a Dane, so
Yeah,
I've grown up with the hardcore like stories of Norse mythology. You know, not through games, not through all of this, but the stories that the folk
I would
tales
like your
they like.
interpretation on that then. What's your favorite story of or not Greek, Norse mythology?
Well, like I have a couple. Um, I really like the one where uh, so it's a story of Odin basically, and how Odin tricked these what do you call them in English? The enemies of the gods basically. They call
The
them in English
giants.
the giants, yeah. You call them jætter in Danish.
Oh yeah,
J A
it's
T T E R.
Jetta, right?
Yeah, but it's not E. It's an A and an E combined, which is a letter in Danish that you
Oh,
don't have.
okay.
Um, and so he goes to the I don't know what the realms are called in English. Not Midgard, but the land of the giants.
Jotunheim.
Jot- Jotunheim, yeah. It's either Jotunheim or one of the other places. It's named Outgard in Danish, Udgård. He goes there. So he walks along the path, the like beaten path, and walks through some fields. And he's taken on an alias named Bølverk, or you could call it like bulwark. But he he goes through these fields and he sees 9 like farm workers like slashing away the corn and with very very bad tools. So he conjures up a like a better tool for them and say that he'll offer it to them for like a very like small price. And then they agree, and these 9 workers like really wants this thing because they saw how it worked. Like he showed them how it worked and it was way better. And of course Odin is a god, so he like basically used his powers to do it really fast. And then there was like, oh, holy shit, we need this. And then he throws that like it's like, I don't know, remember what the tool is called in English, where you slash the corn and the crops. A what?
A scythe.
A scythe, yeah, scythe, a scythe, yeah. And then he throws it up into the air, and which this is the story. So all the 9 workers, they slip and fall at the same time and get slid up by this thing, because I don't know, but that just happens.
What?
No, that happens in the story. They're like, the stories are real weird, all of them. And so they all die, but that was intentional. Odin did that on purpose. And he then goes on to the farm where they actually work, and then he says, I saw all of these all of your workers, they've died, and I can offer my help. And then he does it like way faster and way better for a year than these workers. And he says to him that he wants a sip of this giant's brother's mead, which is like beer, right?
Yeah.
Sweet beer.
Yeah.
And that's called sutung. He's called sutung, and his mead is like a poet's mead. Like you'll get wisdom and knowledge, and you'll sing like you've never sung before. You'll be like basically get new powers, right? Like a magical mead.
Yeah.
And he wants 1 sip of it, and he agrees for that year of work. And then when the year's done, he had to offer it to him. So they go to that mountain where Sutung is sitting, and his daughter is sitting as well. And he needs a way to get into the mountain where this meat is located in big barrels. So they like take like a screw kind of thing and drill a hole into the mountainside. And at that moment, when he blows through the hole and the dust doesn't come back out in his face, Odin transforms into a snake and shoots through the hole. And there, the giant who owns the farm realizes that he's been tricked. So he tries to stick him with that the pointy end of the drill. And he comes into the mountain and sees Sutung's daughter, which is guarding the mead, and he thought she was beautiful. So he transforms into a strapping young man and then they live together for like a week and fuck around, and and Odin gets sips of this mead gradually because she offers it to him because he's just so charming, um, and eventually Sutung finds out, and um, and then he transforms into like a big eagle and swallows two of the meat caskets, like big meat caskets, and he couldn't. The last one's pretty much he pretty much drank the whole thing already, and then he flew away trying to get back to Asgard, and Sutung chases him and almost catches him because he's so heavy after all that meat. But he reaches the inner wall of Asgard, flies through, and Sutung can't reach him because the other gods are there. And then he pukes all of this meat up in two big caskets the Asgardians have left out, and that's how they have that mead. So that's one of my favorite stories.
That's such a fucked up story. Odin's such a piece of shit, dude.
Odin is a piece of
Play
shit.
with
The
me.
gods are pieces of shit, and they really are through those stories. I mean, there's lots, and there's some of the stories. I've read this original story named Erik Human Son or Erik Menneskeson, which is like a take on the whole story of of the gods really, where this little boy gets picked up by Thor on Earth, and gets up to the worlds of the gods basically, because he's destined to save Idun, which is the girl who holds the life apples and so the gods can stay young and live forever. And she's been stolen, and her apples too. So he has to save her. But then it sort of switches later on, because you hear about all the grim things that the giants have done. But on the other side, later, the journey goes against that, and Erik has to
Choose a
side
side.
with some of the giants as well,
Mm-hmm.
and find out that they are actually people too in some way. So that's a really that's my favorite story of all time. It's not an original like folk tale thing, but it's a nice and really great interpretation, those books of the like hardcore Norse mythologies.
My favorite story of Norse mythology is the story of how the gods they basically they took in this wolf. Tyr takes in this wolf, the baby wolf, and he raises it, and then the wolf gets so big, it's like one of Loki's children,
Yeah.
but they didn't know that. So the wolf gets so fucking big that, and the only one that the wolf will listen to is Tyr,
Yes,
right?
but it is actually Loki who brings it in
Yeah.
the
Oh,
real
Loki brings it in.
story. Loki brings it in, but Tyr takes it under his wing, kind of, and he's the one that raises it most of the time. But they all kind of raise it.
Yeah, they all kind of raise it, but it gets so big and so nasty that they have to end up binding it, and then there's a prophecy saying that the wolf will kill Odin or something like that.
Yes,
So they
that's
bind the
why they
wolf.
end up finding it.
They end up binding the wolf, and in order to bind the wolf, the Tyr offers his hand, like his arm, to the wolf to get it to stay still. So he puts his arm in its mouth, and then by the end of the time by the time the wolf has been bound, the wolf has bitten off his hand,
Yep,
and
that's a
so
really great story.
I really like that story because it shows how, of all the gods, Tyr was like the one that was like the most responsible. I really like Tyr. The Tyr is my favorite god.
The,
I tend to side towards Odin or Thor.
You like Odin or Thor, but Odin and Thor they're such pieces of shit, dude.
They are, but they also have so many nuances if you read all of the children's stories, like the Danish children's stories, or both the like mythological stories, but also the interpretations of them. So that's why I like him, because they're not only assholes; they're very nuanced characters in a lot of those stories. Um, no, but about Loki's children, he has like he he's the father of Hel, like the basically the half god who, or the not the half god, the giant who resides over Hell,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. I forget how she
He
gets put there though.
he also gave birth to the world serpent.
Yeah. Isn't that a fucking crazy thing, eh? That
Yeah,
thing's
that's crazy.
huge.
He gave birth to Odin's horse Sleipnir as well. It's eight-legged horse
Oh yeah, yeah.
that rides. That's the fastest horse in the known universe,
Hmm.
and it can fly.
I'm unfortunately quite uneducated in Norse mythology. I spent more time studying Greek mythology instead.
Yeah.
So
Greek mythology is a
I'm
little
slightly
more tame.
towards that. Yeah, I know, not as cool. Anyway, cutting back off on this tangent and back towards the tattoo question that was going earlier. Do you plan on any more tattoos, Pilgrim? Maybe something Norse related.
Not Norse related, no, but I am planning to get, because I have this big love for riding. Um, so I'm planning to get like a riding feather up my arm, and as well as some like some plants that kind of looks feathery beside it as well, and maybe like a butterfly flying around it, or like an ink blot at the end of the feather.
I like the idea of being a plot. Very much like that. But yeah, no, that's quite a cool tattoo idea. I also plan on getting a new tattoo, which I will do um as this is a safe spot when my scars heal. And when I can obviously go out and get a tattoo, but I plan to get the word survivor in Japanese down my arm. Um Mostly to do with my battles with mental health.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sounds cool.
Interesting,
What
interesting.
what else did you want to talk about in the realm of creativity, my good sir?
The realm of creativity. So, I wanted to talk about um, some. It's both in the sense of between mental health and creativity. So, a thing that helps me both with my mental state and creativity is really just noting things and like putting order into the chaos that is life, really. So, using pre-planned times of doing things. So if I keep myself going, not necessarily like pushing things away, but if I keep myself going with projects and doing things, then I generally keep healthy and I keep on top of myself. I don't get anxious. I don't get jitters. I don't get uncomfortable. But sometimes it's necessary to get uncomfortable to realize, okay, well, this is now all of these projects don't work. Now I'm getting jitters and I'm getting uncomfortable and anxious anyway. So there's something deeper here. So I have to look into that and like lift up over myself and look down and what part is broken and what needs to be fixed or reordered or looked upon in a different light. Um, so yeah, and you can do that in sort of different ways. Sometimes it works just going on a long walk and just let your mind flow, or sometimes it helps writing down in my notebook. Other times it might not help, and I have to do something else. Then I have to put on some music and dance it all away. Sometimes and just shake my ass in my own room alone. I mean, it's sometimes that's what working. And other times it just helps to talk to somebody about it, and not necessarily someone I know. Sometimes it's someone I know and deeply love that's needed. Um, yeah, you pick up a lot of solutions and a lot of ways to
Yeah.
cope and find out how to learn from past experiences.
I will say
I find
this.
that also apply. I'm sorry for
No, no
interrupting,
problem.
but it also applies to creativity in a sense, in the same way that through time you learn different ways to cope with like different problems to your creativity, like the perfectionist side of yourself. Like I've kind of the perfectionist side of me have kind of dimmed down a lot. So I don't need it to be perfect. I can actually release things that are not perfect to me. I can release things that are and be cool with it, be all right with it. And I might think, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. I didn't reach this. Oh shit! But at the end of the day, you just have to get it out there.
I will say this, Pilgrim. I am very much the opposite of you. I am 100% the opposite. I I see that life is chaos and I fully embrace it. So, when I get out of bed in the morning, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, other than my job, I don't really have a plan, and so I kind of like live my life as the ebb and flow kind of takes me. You know?
I'm the awkward in between.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I'm actually in all sense of the in the sense of it, I'm actually in between, but sometimes that's what I meant. Sometimes I need the planning. Sometimes I need to plan out of chaos. But other times beautiful things or different things sprout out of chaos.
Like the
Chaos. So
podcast today.
like the podcast today, yeah. So I'm definitely an in between on that one, and I find most people fit into that category.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like if you plan for everything, something's about to fail, and then when that thing fails, you'll be ever so devastated about it, and then you'll kind of shut down. But if you kind of leave the leeway for error, then I feel like that's the best way to live. Like plan around the world not bending to your will. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
We've gotten pretty deep on this podcast, I'll say.
Very deep.
This will definitely go down as one of my favorite casts. Thank you so much for coming out, Pilgrim.
Really? Is that true?
Yeah, I am a
He's
sucker
behind you.
for all these deep conversations.
He is. I can fully back that. He's the big old deep boy.
But what I will say, I like, I definitely do like the deep conversations, but not too deep. Not going down the rabbit hole too much.
Because I mean, if you go down the rabbit hole too much, you can get stuck, and that's the problem.
Exactly. Exactly, and then you're stuck there questioning your own existence and the meaning. Yeah, it's crazy. Um, what what uh what are some things that help you cope with when your plans fail?
Well, at that point, I would say I embrace that it fails, and I recognize that it fails. Uh, what I do to cope? Well, I guess I just figure out either another way to do it or just um, or maybe if it fails too much, I have to stop and think. That's usually what I do. I'm a very big thinker, because I haven't been able to stop this big old brain for ages. It just keeps going. Um, but yeah, stop and think is probably most of the time. Either stop and think or think on the fly. I'm not that good at thinking on the fly, but I've gotten better at it. So it's not like uh, hindering me that much anyway. But if it fails a lot, and I feel like it's kind of sometimes you get that gut feeling that something is really wrong. Then I have to stop up and think and reevaluate and do some of those therapeutic things that then gets me thinking about the solutions. So the solution might be I go for a walk and then I find out, well, shit, I feel this way. Guess I'll talk to my mom because my mom is always been very supportive and always been there, and I can always talk to her about things. And sometimes that's the solution. But then I might find out, oh, it wasn't right to talk to my mom. Maybe it's right to talk to this close friend I have. Maybe it's right to delve into a new project or look into where that thought stems from, and then write it down.
That's a very interesting way to go about that. I feel, I'm definitely, I should definitely take notes too. That's what I think comes out of this, as I think I should start writing stuff down.
Writing stuff down really helps. Like, I find it helping just write your feelings. Like, what are you feeling right now? What did you feel when? Uh, what did you feel when the issue felt like it was at its worst? Um, what what thoughts like circles around that, and
Hmm.
what feeling circles around that, and which possible solutions are there? You write them down, and then okay, it could be I'm gonna say the same thing, but it's for me it could be talk to mom, write things down, talk to friend, go for a walk, work on a creative project, a therapeutic creative project like writing or uh, filmmaking. Could be I like doing filmmaking and photography sometimes. Um, it could be visiting a friend, which is harder these times. But I have a few friends that I've allowed myself to see in these times, and in Denmark it is still possible to since the
Right.
country have opened up a little bit more. I'm allowed to see some friends. So
So, I hate to.
no,
No, no,
Tara, we are not in lockdown in Denmark.
yeah.
Nice to see you, Tara.
I was about to ask the same question. um, I hate to put a swing on this discussion, but I would like to talk about some current events. What have you been in the know around these allegations and of the P word in the YouTube space with the James Charles and and all the controversy that's surrounding that,
No, like P word.
and David
Uh,
Dobrik. By the way, I'd like to also ask about David Dobrik.
well,
I'm
no,
also
I'm not sure. And the P word in like PP?
No, as in pedophilia.
Okay.
Um, so let me run this down for you. There are there's probably around 15 people now, nine of which are minors that have come out and have said that James Charles, this influencer, do you know who James Charles is?
Yes, I'm aware.
This influencer, he came out and he would send unsolicited messages asking for nudes, asking for all kinds of disgusting shit from these underage people. Most of which you can easily like look up their age on like any website. Like, so like the fact that he's doing this is completely like he knows he's
Well,
doing this. Basically, is what
we
I'm
don't
saying.
know. Do we know if he did it? Is there proof?
Yeah, there's receipts. There's tons of proof. Yeah.
Well, if there's proof, then yeah, then yes, he should be like, then it should be reviewed by some people who know the law. But if there's no proof, then I'm a strong believer in you're not uh, you're not what's it called? You're not an assailant, or you're not criminal until it's proven. You're not. It's basically like protecting the integrity of a potentially innocent person.
He 100% isn't innocent though in this case because he's come out with a video fully admitting to this, right, Jamie?
I'm actually really out of the loop. I feel bad being the youngest here and being the most out of the loop with current YouTube drama.
But
Terrible.
you've heard of this James Charles drama, right, Jamie?
Yeah, I've heard of the drama. I swear, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure there was an allegation before along the same lines with James
Yeah.
Charles.
So basically, Tati Westbrook and Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star, they all came out with a video trying to fucking destroy James Charles back in 2016, 2019. I think it was 2019. Um,
Funny thing.
so yeah, and it was like this huge video that has 44 million views or something crazy like that. And they didn't give receipts, but they basically said that he was doing this kind of shit. But now we have the proof of the now we have proof of all this crazy shit that James Charles is doing. Not like 12. How I think I said like 9 minors. I believe it is right now. 9 minors have come out with receipts and proof of all this crazy shit. I was
What
just
does receipts mean? I'm
receipts. I mean,
asking.
so like
Like,
they have the Snapchats, they have the text messages.
Well, if they do have proof, then has he been pulled into court
I
yet?
believe there's a current, and there has to be an investigation going on right now of James Charles. There has to be because the amount of evidence is mind blowing. What I would like to ask you, Pilgrim, is if if you think that our society has gotten to a point where the fact that we're idolizing these you could say normal people that don't have these like the training that normal celebrities go through when it comes to dealing with an audience. Do you think the fact that we're idolizing these people, do you think that's putting people lots of more people in danger and harm's way? And do you think that we need to come up with a solution in order um, to curb these bad behaviors?
Well, I think this stems from the globalization of social media, and I think it's grander in that regard. Because I'm very much an advocate for digital minimalism in many ways. I'm saying this even though I'm a total hypocrite and I use Twitch a lot, and I look at my fucking stats like I don't know, some horny teenager looking at porn. Um,
Or
and
James
I
Charles looking at a minor?
no, he went there. Uh, no, it's and I'm still affected by it, even though I'm very self-aware.
Hmm.
Um, and if you look at like one of the best documentaries about social media is The Social Dilemma,
I
Netflix,
love
which
that.
is
I'm
kind of
so
again,
glad you brought
which
that
is
up.
kind of ironic since it's on Netflix and people like binge watch that shit, uh, which is kind of funny. But um, they want legislation, and what they advocate for and talk about, other than what social media does to you, and how much information they actually have on you. Um, they want legislation for like moral legislation for how to use social media. There was an example, a great example, where they actually have a social media minister in an Asian country where they legislated against the algorithms. So the algorithms usually just end up promoting polarization, right? And
Watch time
uh,
and views and stuff like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and watch time and views and all this. And what they did was legislating when people that have a difference in opinion and actually reach common ground.
Mm-hmm.
They want to promote that. But that is also kind of censoring information as
Yeah.
well. But I feel like it's still a better way to do it. Uh,
But my question was, do you think that is on the onus is on platforms like YouTube to provide um social media training to stars that get like as big as they get, like James Charles, as much as I hate the guy, you know, he also at the same time, like he got big for a reason because he's talented, right? Like he's talented at what he does. So, do you think the onus is on YouTube to have gone in and trained him in a way to like interact with his fans? Because the way he's doing it right now is he's going to go to jail.
yes, but we don't know if that would have any effect.
What I'm trying to say is, do you think that because YouTube kind of just takes a back seat and everything, they kind of allow for these predatory behaviors to happen on their site?
Well, we don't know. They might come out and say something about it, but if they don't, then I don't think they're necessarily to blame. At the end of the day, they're a company. They're trying to make money. What I would enforce instead is that companies have policies against these things, and that means if you're going against the law, you're either, of course, you might go to prison and stuff, but the pages also will have some legislation against this because this might call for legislation,
Yeah,
um, and a review of the YouTube policies.
because this isn't the
Um,
first. This isn't the first time someone's abused their power like this.
well, of course not.
It's but it's happened more with YouTubers than it's happened with celebrities, I think, especially in the recent years. Like the whole. Let me explain the whole David Dobrik thing to you, Pilgrim, since you're not too aware. David Dobrik, do you know who that is?
Yeah, I'm sort of familiar. Yes.
Well, he basically had this whole stick of doing a 4 minute and 20 second VOD. Like 420. It was a joke, and like I get it. Like it's quirky, right? But like he would cut stuff out of his videos often. So the very first thing that he did was there was this sexual assault thing that happened twice, 2 times. So the first time he went about, like, he got his friend to kiss another guy without him knowing that it was a guy, and he did that twice to the same person. And then what happened was he went about and he filmed the sexual assault. He didn't film it, but he filmed he gave someone a platform who said just sexually assaulted someone in the same house as him. So these girls came over. They asked this guy Dirty Dom asked these girls if they would have a foursome with him. So they came over. They didn't want to have the sex. But then in the vlog he said, with a little bit of persuasion, we got the girls to do this, blah blah blah.
Okay.
So so these guys went out to buy alcohol. These girls were minors, so they bought alcohol for minors, and this girl ended up getting blackout drunk, and Dirty Dom had sex with her while she was blackout drunk.
Then he needs to be prosecuted. If it's documented and if there's proof, he needs to be
100%
prosecuted.
proof.
I mean, but again, that's what I call the Logan Paul syndrome of YouTube, which is the thrill-seeking channels.
Yes, that's what it was.
Thrill-seeking channels will always escalate to a point of no return. If they keep doing it, they will escalate to a point of no return.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And David Dobrik Dirty Dom, the guy that did it, needs to go to jail, and I think David Dobrik needs to not have a platform anymore.
I don't know about having the platform, but he needs to be.
He needs to be fined or something. David does.
He needs to be punished for it because he's an assailant in his own right for documenting it, and it's like having these news, like rogue news host kind of things and channels and ways of getting news out to people that, there've been these cases of news people setting up stories and actually changing a crime scene to get it to look more appealing to an audience.
Yeah.
It's that kind of dynamic that's going on, which is scary, and it's appalling, and it's dangerous.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I still wouldn't say I hate someone for doing it, and I hate someone that I don't know for doing it, because I'm not enlightened enough in the case to even begin hating. I mean, it's appalling what they did, if and so they did what you say they do. But yeah, I wouldn't go as far as saying I hate them.
Oh, I despise James Charles, and I despise David Dobrik.
I don't think they're worth the time and effort to hate someone.
True. I'm a hate watcher. I hate watch. I'll watch stuff just to make me mad.
That doesn't sound healthy.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not healthy, Bunny. You describe that much an anime.
I'm like, ooh, damn, this guy is getting away with it. Fuck this guy. But no, yeah, it's absolutely appalling, and I think there needs to be legislation based on, if you get to a certain amount of celebrity. If you're a YouTuber and you have people like Kim Kardashian coming onto your channel, and that's what James Charles did. He had Kylie Jenner on his channel, doing makeup with him. If you're to that point of celebrity, I think you should have social media training, or I think you should maybe just not talk to fucking minors and ask them for armpit pictures.
I think you should just be a decent person if you're at that stage.
Yeah. Oh my god, the fact that you're this much of a celebrity and you're resorting to asking minors for sex, it shows that you're a pedophile. It just shows, because you could have any guy probably that's your type, but you choose to go for minors.
Yeah, well, it just
might be his type.
It shows
it's definitely his type.
Some sort of abuse of power, and I think that's can happen to thrill-seeking YouTube channels. And I don't know if James Charles is necessarily a thrill-seeking YouTube channel. I don't know the extent of his content, but I could imagine that social media will do that to you. And what Twitch also, both Twitch and YouTube, and content creation in general, can inflate your ego in a lot of ways, and and you'll get blinded by your own success, basically.
Exactly.
As a,
Oh,
as a going off the legislation idea, but more towards Twitch. What do you think about the current like you're not allowed to say the R word, and there's a lot of words that are now banned on Twitch. They're bad. Like simp was also kind of banned because of Pokemon, but the R word being
don't say it.
no, you know what I mean. You know what I mean about the R word.
Yes, I do.
I don't know what you mean, but you can just write it to me in Discord.
Um, it's
Yeah,
it's you know the
I'll put it in the group chat real quick. But
the N word
essentially,
is also banned. But I think the N word should be banned. Yeah.
oh, definitely the N word, the M word, and
Okay, yeah.
I don't even know the F word should be banned, not as in fuck, but as in the homophobic one.
Yeah.
I
The
don't even think that really should be banned. Like, I know it's got negative homophobic connotations, but
I am generally
it's all
against. I am generally against censorship of words. What I am not what I am against instead is people uh, targeting certain people with swear words. So I believe they should be banned. I don't believe words should be banned. I believe the people should be banned. The people that use words in a harmful way.
like say
No,
say
not say per se canceled or anything, but banned from that certain Twitch stream, for example. And that's what
yeah
happens usually. If
yeah.
people are very rude in Twitch streams, they will get banned. So that system is already in place. What
Say that you're like having fun with your friends and the F word comes out or like the R word comes out. If you're having friends with your friends, you don't mean that they are actually that word. But if you're like this guy who's talking to like an audience and he says, "Oh, I hate those guys," or "I hate these F words," or "I hate those R words,"
yeah,
then that should be banned. I think I'm 100% with you, Pilgrim, on that stance.
Yes, and in the court of law, it's about the intention behind the words. It's about the intention behind the action. And I feel like that should be the same way for social media.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the intention and about investigating the intention to the point that you can decide on an intention in a court of law.
Precisely.
yeah,
Precisely.
I fully agree.
Oh man, it just makes me so mad. Those people like abusing your power like that. Not a lot of people get power like this, and when you have it and you abuse it, it's just so disgusting.
Give it to us, we'll take it.
Well,
Yeah.
it's uncomfortable, but I'm not no saint. I mean, I can describe or I can think of a lot of times where I've used power that either been given to me or like social status that I've used to gain something of particularly bad means. And we've all done this. Everybody has done it. And I mean, nobody's a saint. So in that sense, I'm playing the devil's advocate here. So I'm saying, I mean, possibly you could be like James Charles. I could be like James Charles. We could.
You never know. Power corrupts, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. Right?
Yeah.
I think that's the saying. Anyway, I think that will end the podcast there on that note. Thank you so much, Pilgrim, for coming out. I know we took quite a bit of your time here. It's about 2 hours.
Good. That's all good, man.
But this has gone down as one of my favorite episodes, so thank you so much for coming
Oh,
on.
This podcast
well,
too.
for reference, I am gonna go stream right now because I'm a little bit over schedule. So if you want to keep the conversation up and talk about the podcast a little bit, then come on over.
All right, yeah. So
Oh,
anyone in my chat that wants to go check out Pilgrim, go check him out. He's a great guy. If you want to go get Moon Panda's merch, I would recommend it. It's very amazing.
Be all right for me to link.
Yeah,
in
you can
chat.
link it in the chat for sure. Don't worry.
Yeah, for sure. I
Um,
can always link on the channels.
But yeah, fuck yeah. Thank you so much for coming out here, Pilgrim. I definitely do enjoy the conversations that we've had,
Yeah,
and
definitely. I would love
I would
to.
consider you a close friend of mine now. So if you ever want to come to me and ask me what I think on a certain topic, or if you need some help, I'll definitely be there to for you.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll be down.
My servant's over there. If we're playing games, you want to hop in? Feel free.
yep,
Definitely. Well, also, I want to end on actually thanking you for having me on here, and I want to end on saying that I would like to jump on the podcast again sometime and talk on some other topics.
for sure. Yeah,
Uh,
Definitely.
and I would like to actually have you on my streams on a couple of occasions and talk about some topics as well, and probably grab some games or something. And maybe do some just chatting segments in a podcasty kind of way. That would be
yeah.
fun to do.
Reach out,
I've thought
man.
about
Reach out.
actually doing podcasts on my channel as well. So,
Definitely.
so I
If you
thought
ever
I'd
start,
have
just
someone
let
who
us have let
has a
us
little bit
know.
of experience in that regard.
If you ever
To
start, let us know, brother. We'd love to have you.
You got our DMs. You know where to find
Yeah.
us. But
All right. Thank you so much to Pilgrim Strange. Our next podcast will be with Taco, streamer extraordinaire. He is on next week. We're not sure of the time yet, but we will get that for you guys soon. Thank you so much, Pilgrim, for coming out. Again, great conversations that we've had. Thank you so much to my co-hosts, Moon Panda, for always being wonderful. And
I,
we'll be ending there. Thank you so
ciao, ciao.
much. Thank you. Thanks again, Pilgrim.
guys, talk to you soon. Bye bye.
Bye. And